How do you expect to find happiness in the heart if you don't have a relationship with the one who created the heart?
أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته أهلا وسهلا ومرحبا بكم. I'd like to welcome everyone once again for our A to Z of Tarbiyah series ongoing with our beloved Sheikh Dr. Ibrahim Nuhu. Sheikh, Jazakumullah khair for joining us once again, taking the time out to be here with us. We really appreciate it. Barakallahu feek.
Allahumma ameen. Allahumma ameen.
Ameen. So till now, we have discussed with regards to the marriage process, how one approaches the family. We discussed about what happens during the marriage. We spoke about the nikah contract. We spoke about the walima. We spoke about the beginning of the family life. In today's discussion, we are going to be looking at the pregnancy as well as what to do after the childbirth. So without further ado, inshallah, Sheikh, we jump into it.
Inshallah.
Our first question for today would be, how does a family navigate when they hear about the pregnancy, the news about the pregnancy? How does one break it to the family? How do we navigate it from there?
Okay, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. والصلاة والسلام على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا وحبيبنا محمد صلى الله عليه وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم أما بعد. Pregnancy after the marriage is the first success in the marriage, and therefore the husband should take it with a great joy and happiness, and also thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala first and foremost. Because millions of people are looking for this opportunity, but they don't get it. They marry maybe many times looking for the opportunity to have the blessings of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in getting children, but Allah did not give them, because having a child is a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He gives whomsoever He wishes. Allah says, لِلَّهِ مُلْكُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ يَخْلُقُ مَا يَشَاءُ. To Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala belongs the kingdom of the heavens and the earth, and He creates ma yasha, whatsoever He wishes. يَهَبُ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ إِنَاثًا وَيَهَبُ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ الذُّكُورِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives whomsoever He wishes inath, female, contrary to the belief in the past among some of the Arabs that having a daughter is deficiency. So it's a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His blessing to have a daughter. وَيَهَبُ لِمَنْ يَشَاءُ الذُّكُورِ. And some, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will give them only males. Some of them only females, and some of them only males. And I know people who, every time he has a child, is a male. And some of them, whenever they have a child, is a female. That's a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. أَوْ يَزَوِّجُهُمْ ذُكُرَانًا وَإِنَاثًا. And some people, Allah will combine both for them. وَيَجْعَلُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ عَقِيمًا. And to our knowledge, Ibrahim alayhi salam only had males. And that's what came to us according to the history. You might find something else, but we cannot verify. But what we know is Ismail and Ishaq. These are only children that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him. After that, did he get something else apart from them? Wallahu a'lam. So he has only males, and you have Lut alayhi salam as only females, daughters, and Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, Allah combined both. He has male and he has females as his children. So Allah says He is the one who is doing this. وَيَجْعَلُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ عَقِيمًا. And some people, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make them aqim. Aqim means barren, somebody who is not able to produce children. So this ability to have a child is also a gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's why a Muslim is supposed to look at it as a gift and a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that his wife is pregnant now. Therefore, he has to take care of it properly, the pregnancy itself, and also the one who is taking responsibility of carrying the pregnancy. Because honestly speaking, right after the pregnancy, for those who are married, you know what usually happens. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, حَمَلَتْهُ أُمُّهُ وَهْنًا عَلَى وَهْنٍ وَفِصَالُهُ فِي عَامَيْنِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that the mother will be carrying him in the state of weakness on top, one after the other. I always call it the process of being, having the pregnancy, the procedures. I don't see it as a sickness. This is how it is. This is just pregnancy. She's going to remain like this for almost 1 month. Her emotional feelings will change, will be very, very, very low. Things which she used to accept, but now she might not accept it. She's going to be very sensitive in most instances. Although it is also a good advice to the mothers, they should try to be moderate. There are things which cannot be controlled. Yeah, but in most instances, she can control the feeling. Not to turn into a very sensitive, person in the family, in the way if she has children, they will not enjoy living with her. The husband also will not enjoy living with her. She should understand that this is a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for her to make sure that she passed this test. And she always asks Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give her ease and try her best to live a normal life with everyone. Things which are beyond her control, then the husband should understand that, the family should understand that. That's why as a husband, he should always try to avoid things which can provoke her sensitivity. And also his kindness should increase 150 or 60 degrees, He has to go to the highest level of his leniency and gentleness and patience also. Yeah, definitely. He has to increase his patience. Yeah, because at that time, as I said, it is not a sickness, but these are the feelings that we keep coming to have for the period of, subhanAllah, 9 months. You have Zahid, some of them, they can't eat anything, which they used to eat. They don't like any smell. And some of them, they keep vomiting. Whatever they eat, they vomit. And some of these sisters, they eat clay.
Clay?
Yeah, clay. Literally clay. That's why I think they have a specific one that the doctors provide, which is healthy for them. It's not good to go for it, but that one can serve a little bit of purpose with less harm. Yeah, they have... they say a woman just go to the clay. This is the only thing she smells and she finds it interesting to eat. So if as a husband you're going to take it as a serious matter, then now she's changing, why the changes, you will be fighting, clashing, and that's really will affect the pregnancy process. So patience is needed, tolerance is needed, but as I said, the sister also should understand the fact that she's living with others. This person is doing everything he does, to show his concern and he cares about her. She should also pity him. Don't overburden him with more than what he can bear. So the emotions should remain, no problem, but she should be moderate as much as she could. But as I said, the most important thing is the husband's reaction towards these emotional feelings. He should be a very tolerant person, a very patient person, and also whatever she needs, as long as it is within his affordability, just give it to her. We need her mood to be calm. Yeah, she really needs that at that time. Yeah, the mood should be calm, and also he will see things which, subhanAllah, ashbah, closer to being a child. Yeah, I don't take them, something which is not, I don't know how to put it, necessary, but I take it as the nature of the pregnancy, and the husband should understand that, She acts like the way her children are doing, the demand, that thinking, he should just close his eyes and just go with that. Yeah, whatever she wants, just do it. Yeah, this is who she is at that time. If the pregnancy is not there, she will not be like that. So it's just a temporary period of time that a husband can gain her side or lose her completely, because whatever clash happened during that time of the pregnancy, trust me, Zahid, the wife will never forget it. If it is mercy, she will not forget that one. If it is harshness, she will not forget that one. And in the future, she might refer to this and tell them, yeah, this man was very harsh, even when I was pregnant also, he doesn't show that much of leniency that he was supposed to be doing. Yeah, so that's what I will advise the family to do. They should always cooperate and be with her. Let her feel that she's not alone in this. There is somebody who's always siding with her. Wallahu alam.
Sheikh, so here we are touching upon the husband's role, right? Let's extend it a bit more towards the family. So in this situation, would you suggest that she goes live with her family where her mother is there, or should that family come and stay with her, take care of her?
No, it is not necessary at all. And if people go with the culture, I'm not going to touch the culture. Let them do whatever is the cultural practice among them, as long as it is not violating any part of the Sharia, is fine. But I don't see it as something that is necessary. Why am I saying this? Because Zahid, this is something that is going to be repeated. We don't expect her mother to always be with her, especially those people who are staying overseas.
Sahih.
That's why there is a lot of complaint. A lot of complaints. My mother is not there. Nobody is to support me. Yeah, because we already believe that somebody has to be there to support. So we should train ourselves to accommodate the situation alone, without the support and the help of anyone. This is better. If we get the mother or the sister to be with them, that's fine. But we should just train ourselves to believe that this is our job. Yeah, whether we have the support of the parent or they are not here to support us, we should keep on moving. Utilize the available. Now she's the only one, she and the husband. They should utilize the available and keep moving like that. If later on the family manage to reach her and support her, alhamdulillah. But if they don't manage to reach her, life will not change. Yeah, otherwise she will keep on hanging around there, being disturbed mentally, and she will not be able to be productive. And there's a very good message also that I always give the sisters. I always tell that a sister should be very careful, otherwise 9 months of her life is wasted. Although she's doing the jihad of carrying the child, but at that period of time we could achieve a lot. If she submit completely to the weaknesses, many of them stop studying, stop doing anything in the house, for the period of 9 months. This is too much. Yeah, she should try her best not to overburden herself and pressure herself, no. But there is always something she can do. Yeah, there's always something she can do. So life should be continuous, right? So if she get a mother or a sister, the mother or the sister to come and help her, alhamdulillah. But she should design her life in a way, whether they are here or they're not here, we will keep moving. Yeah, this is my advice. And if the family are there, they should show support. Yeah, this is better for them to show support, because she is watching and she's waiting for this. And it will make her happier to see people who are around her also showing concern. As they said, al-musibatu idha ammat khaffat. And if a musiba, a calamity and a test, when it is with everyone, and you see people also cooperating with you, the pressure of the calamity will be very, very low. Allah grant is good.
Sheikh, so we mentioned that the woman should train herself to anticipate the pregnancy part individually. So if we look at the story of Maryam alayhi salam, there also she was alone when she gave birth. So any lessons that we can derive from this story, because I think this is the only story of the pregnancy that we have from the Quran. So any lessons that we can derive from this?
A lot of lessons, that tells people to try their best to live natural. Because in villages, I believe up to date, sisters are giving birth with little amount of help. And we're told some of them she'll be in the farm. Even at that time, in the last minute of her pregnancy, she's still going to the farm. She's still contributing to the house activities. She's still benefiting others. Laziness is not part of their life. They do what they can afford doing. Yeah. So she will give birth in the farm and wash the baby, fix the baby, do everything necessary, and then bring the baby home. They will just see her carrying the baby. So nobody will have doubt in this, because they already know she's pregnant. Yeah, that's it. Which, to imagine that in life we're having nowadays in the cities, and I don't say it is impossible, but almost impossible. And I relate this to the kind of life we're dealing with. Our life is based on artificial, and you can say the life is artificial. So the body is not having that strength to resist the pressure of the pregnancy and the delivery. So Maryam did it alone. She did it alone with the support and the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And even when she was looking for support, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not just bring it down for her. He says, وَهُزِّي إِلَيْكِ بِجِذْعِ النَّخْلَةِ تُسَاقِطْ عَلَيْكِ رُطَبًا جَنِيًّا. Shake the tree, and then the fruit will come. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala asks her to use the sabab. Then He will take the responsibility of giving her the result. So that's the reason why I said previously that a woman should train herself to handle these things alone as much as she could. Where she need help, then somebody should come and help her, and the community or the family should help her without waiting for her to look for that. Yeah, because Maryam, when the makhad comes, she just go to the place, looking for the place which is appropriate for her to give the birth and deliver the child, and then brought it back home. So if a woman train herself, to believe that this is my job and I'm supposed to do it alone, even if nobody's showing support, then she will be able, bi-idhnillahi azza wa jalla, with this kind of courage, if it happens that she's going to deliver alone, also to do that which is necessary. And also it's good for a woman to be aware of how to receive a child in case the delivery might come when she is not next to somebody who can show support. Because usually these type of things don't wait. There is a circumstance where the child is already near to come out. She can't do anything. Otherwise, the child might lose his life. She just has to let it come out. And when they come out, sometimes they might come with this, the mashiyah, the glaf. The child when he's inside is covered by some skin. Sometimes that one comes. Somebody has to cut for the child to be able to breathe, because now the system which is there in the stomach is not, in the womb is not there outside. So they need to open for the child, and some other things also that they have to do. So it's good for her to be aware of this, because Maryam fixed the child alone and brought him back to the people, and that's it. I think these are the main thing that I can see in the story of Maryam alayhi salam.
So just to summarize that, so we are saying she should prepare herself and learn about how to deliver in the first place.
That's really good. And I guess we have a lot of midwives that can teach a person the first aid in this regard. Yeah.
Sahih.
Because I believe if a man can do it for his wife, for sure the wife can learn how to do things alone.
Sahih.
Nowadays, unfortunately, we are living a life whereby even to shave the hair, it's not easy for a woman to do it.
We need to bring in experts.
They need to bring an expert, And Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam told Fatima, he said, go and shave the hair of Al-Hassan or Al-Hussein and give charity with the wazn. That's mean they do, So these type of things, they seems to be simple, but unfortunately, the kind of life we are living nowadays in the city doesn't give chance to the sisters to learn these things. Yeah, even the liver itself, also sisters don't like to go with the normal one, which is natural, healthier. They want to be cut.
The cesarean.
Yeah, the cesarean, because they think this is easy, just go into that state of unconsciousness, and then. This is very dangerous, because this has its own limitation, 3 to 4 kids, and then you cannot have any more. Yeah, but that's not good for her. Not good for her health, because there are certain sickness which are generated when a woman is not having children. Having child itself and being in the womb is a protection from some other diseases. Usually the sisters that stay for so long without having this, they develop another kind of problem, which sometimes they need to go for surgery to remove it. Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. Sheikh, so we also mentioned about there are different periods of time, like long periods of time in pregnancy, where the mother could be feeling weaknesses and whatnot, and because of this, they leave off everything. They cut off from classes, studying, housework, etc., etc. So, what would you advise or suggest the mothers to do during this time to make it beneficial or productive for themselves?
Well, not to stop anything, except what cannot be done. Yeah, she is vomiting. She is suffering from pain. You can't ask her to go and. You cannot ask her to go and memorize her Quran. Cannot ask her to go and cook at that time. Cannot ask her to go and sweep the house. You cannot ask her to go and do all of those heavy things. You know, at that time the husband should take over, or should bring somebody who can replace her in that regard. But this comes occasionally, you know, and usually in the first few months of the pregnancy. After 4 months, usually the stability takes place. Yeah, in this case, the weariness comes from time to time. Yeah, but it's not that much. It's not as bad as the first period, you know. And even during the first few months, I would really advise a sister to not stop anything. Keep moving. This is 8 to 9 months of your life, yani, being gone just like that. Although you're doing something, you know, which is also good for the ummah, but we can combine between this and many other things which you don't need to delay them. Yeah, can keep memorizing the Quran, keep giving the tarbiyah, keep having the activities in the house, and this is also good for her also to be part of the home activities. Yeah, I remember a sister delivered a child in a very simple way in the hospital. So the doctor was asking what really happened. What was she doing before? They told her she just came back from Hajj. He said, yeah, that's why. Yeah, because they recommend exercise, especially in the last...
Being active.
Yeah, being active. Especially in the last months of the, the pregnancy. It's not good for her to be lazy. Abadan. It's good for her to be active. Do exercise. Of course, not heavy exercise, those simple ones, but doing them continuously. That sister came back from Hajj, so when she delivered, very easily the doctor related to that one. He says, yeah, that's it. So what I'm saying is, rather than waiting until the last minute when the pregnancy happens, keep moving. Whatever could be done, just do. Don't let somebody to come and help just because a woman is pregnant, you know. Just because she's pregnant and then she just entertain everyone to come and handle her responsibilities. Oh, this is not good for her. But things which she cannot do, then the husband should understand that. That's why husband's focus on her should be more than his focus before the pregnancy. Yeah, to make sure that he monitor her feelings. Yeah, because these things cannot be hidden. Once he sees her that, yes, she's in a situation, the husband should force her to stay away from it. Because sometimes, especially when you're dealing with a good husband, she might be shy of letting him go for these things. You know, and in this time around, the husband should force her actually to sit down and rest. He'll go and do it, or invite anyone amongst his sisters to come and do it, or bring somebody to handle the case who is out of the family, but not her.
And that's his responsibility.
That's his responsibility. And it's good actually for the good relationship also. Yeah, because she cannot forget this. Sisters are not like the brothers. You know, somebody might do all of these kindness, you know, you will not remember the way he's doing them. But subhanAllah, sister is not like that. That's why the Prophet ﷺ called them qawarir. Qawarir means glasses, you know, those cup of
vessels.
Yeah, call them qawarir. Yeah, something that will make a sister happy, and she will become very emotional, and she will be attached to a person. Maybe with the brother you have to do millions of them and still thinking of whether he is okay or not, you know. Yeah, but it's who they are. This is who the brothers are. So everyone Allah, and this is good actually for them to be like that. So those kind of words and those kind of support the husband is going to be having, given to the wife during the pregnancy. Trust me, Zaid, it would do a lot in bringing the wife closer to him and attached to him, and she will never forget this. And that will be the reason why she will try to stay away from anything that will hurt his feeling in the future, because she knows who he is. You know? Yeah. May Allah grant us good. So as I said, I really advise sisters to revisit their behavior and their attitude during the pregnancy. Yeah, they have to keep on being productive. Do whatever is possible. What is impossible, then they stay away from it, and the husband should take over from that time.
Sheikh, a lot of time it's also said that it's good to play the Quran in the background while you're working because it affects the baby as well. What would you say about that?
Inside the womb.
Inside the womb.
I don't have any evidence to support this, but if it is true that the baby is picking up what is, he hears what we're talking about. If this is confirmed and true, then it's good for the house to be with the Quran. So he's familiar with the Quran before he even comes. If it is true, if it could be proven scientifically that the baby hears what we are doing around us, yeah. But if it is not proven, it doesn't make sense. Just live your normal life, but don't think that the child is listening to what you are doing.
Sorry. So also in this specific period of pregnancy, we mentioned that there are weaknesses and there's so many things that the person cannot do.
Yeah.
So from a fiqh perspective, what would be the rukhsas that would be there for the mother?
She has to do everything. She's just like any other woman, except when it comes to fasting.
Mm-hmm.
As for the other rituals, she is just like anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she has to pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and if she can afford fasting, she fasts also.
Mm-hmm.
But
even in the prayer, she's praying like sitting or...
I know that it depends on the ability.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say it is too much upon her, and especially when the pregnancy is about
in the later stages.
Yeah. So in this case, sometimes making ruku will be very tough.
Mm.
So what I will advise the sister is, if she can make the ruku without pressuring herself, without getting into trouble, to make a ruku, but make it short, no lengthy ruku. Yeah, make it short, but no lengthy one. You know, Subhana Rabbil Azim, Subhana Rabbil Azim, wa bihamdi, Subhana Rabbil Azim. Even once is okay, and then raise up from the ruku. But if that is not possible, also it really put her into trouble. Then in this case, she should just sit down and pray seated. Yeah, the hadith of Imran ibn Hussein is what you call really applicable on this matter. She just remains seated, sit according to what that pregnancy can afford, and then pray with just bending her head a bit for the ruku, and for the sujood a bit more. If she can make sujood, the ruku should be like this, and the sujood should make the normal sujood if that is possible. Mm-hmm. Whatever she can do, she does it. Mm. Yeah, if she can stand, then she stand. The places where she cannot do it, then she sit down and do what she can do. Let's say she can stand, so she stand up and pray. But when it comes to the ruku, if ruku cannot be done, then what does she do? She sit down and do the ruku seated. If she can go for the sujood, she make the correct sujood. If not, then she do the sujood in the same way she's making the ruku a bit lower than the sujood. Yeah. So these are the thing. Other than that, she's just like any other
We were mentioning about fasting.
Yeah, fasting also, she can break her fast. Mm-hmm. You know, if she's afraid of getting into trouble, or the child also would get into trouble, she can break the fast, and there is nothing wrong with that. Then later, after Ramadan, then she fast again. She make up those days she missed. Yeah, that's the best opinion of the scholars, inshallah. And
any thing needs to be given in charity or something for missing out on these fasts?
She doesn't need to pay anything. She just has to replace. She has to replace the day she missed, and that's it. Mm-hmm. Inshallah.
Sheikh, it also happens a lot of the time, especially when you're looking at it from the subcontinent and many of these different regions, where people take oaths that if such and such child happened, let's say a specific gender that they're looking for, be it a boy or a girl, then I'll go for Hajj, or I'll spend $1,000 in charity, or I'll do something. So it's like another or an oath that they have taken. What would you say about this?
Well, I advise the person at the first place to always ask Allah to grant him good, because you don't know which one is better for you amongst your kids. How many people they don't want girls, they want boys, and subhanallah, they have the boys, but they wish they don't have. And how many people want girls, although it's a few, apart from the sisters. Mm-hmm. Usually people want boys, up to date. Although we don't go and exaggerate like the people of the past who killed the girl just because she's a girl. But still, this mentality, the balance of it is still there, which is wrong for a person to have this. Yeah, it's good to have an interest to have one gender of the children. It's okay, but a person shouldn't exaggerate. And my advice to a parent is to look for good, because you don't know which one is good, boy or girl, you don't know. Just ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant you good, and whatever He granted you, make him good, boy or girl. If this comes, then if a person wants to give some charity, he does it without making any oath. But to have a swearing or to take an oath that if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted me a boy, I will go for Hajj. It's not good. Yeah, and sometimes what happens is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might test the person by giving him that. And then the issue of now going to Hajj comes in. Then he will start looking for the scholars. Is there any concession? Is there any rukhsa? You know, how can I do with this? You know, he was supposed to be thinking about this before he said the oath. So my advice is not to go for this at all. The Prophet ﷺ disliked another. A person should just ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant him good, even not to specify. Although it's okay for a person to say, Ya Allah grant me a daughter, Ya Allah grant me a boy, so it's fine. But I will ask, and I will advise a person to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to grant him good. Whether boy or girl, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant him a righteous child. Yeah, that's better for him. Yeah. And then when the child that he's looking for comes, if he wants to do charity, just do it. Yeah, without being obliged to make that charity. But it's just up to him to appreciate what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him in that way, or to stay away from that kind of appreciation.
But let's say in this case, if they have taken such an oath or they have made such an oath, what are they going to do after that if it doesn't happen, or if they have to break the oath? How do you...
They have to do the kafara. Yeah. And just to fix my words when I said if he wants to stay from that kind of appreciation, I mean the appreciation whereby you go for Hajj, you do this and that. A person should appreciate what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does and is doing for him all the time. But I'm just referring to the nadhr itself. Yeah, and if a person is not willing to keep it, which is wrong in the first place, or a person finds himself in a situation whereby he cannot keep that nadhr. Yeah, in this case, he has to go for the kafara. Yeah, he has to go for the kafara to free a slave, if he can find one, or to fast, or to feed 10 needy people. Yeah, give them a meal, provide them, bring them all, and then provide them with a complete meal. Each and every one of them eat, and that's it. Or to give them clothes, the dress to wear, each and every one of them. If a person cannot do one of these three, then he goes for the fasting for 3 days continuously. If one of those options is not easy to be attained, then he has to go for fasting for 3 days. 3 days continuously also, according to the qira'ah of Abdullah ibn Mas'ud. فَصِيَامُ ثَلَاثَةِ أَيَّامٍ مُتَتَابِعَةٍ. He says fasting for 3 days continuously. Yeah, so that's why I said it's not good for him to do it at the first place, but if he does, he has to keep that promise. If he doesn't want to keep it, or he cannot keep it, then in this case he has to go for the kafara.
Sheikh, but I think here, especially when we're talking about the nadhr and the oath and all of that stuff, this, what we said, is something which is disliked, but if a person does it, it's there. But you also see situations where people would be visiting the graves and the shrines, and they're tying ribbons in these places and asking these awliya, so-called awliya, that, you know, bless us through your wasila and so on and so forth. What advice would you have for such parents?
Well, these are all shirk and tala'ub shaitan. Shaitan is playing with the brain of others and their hearts. These people that we take awliya, first of all, we take them as awliya, first of all. How do we know they're awliya in the first place? That's number one. And even if they're confirmed to be awliya, you know, what evidence do we have to go and ask them, even if they're alive? If they're alive, we're not supposed to ask them. We're supposed to ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There was no case, to my knowledge, where they used to go to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and ask him to do for them that which only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does. So this wali that I'm thinking of him to be the wali, he dies now. If he could benefit himself, for sure he wants to live more. Why couldn't he stay, you know? He died maybe out of sickness. He couldn't remove that sickness from himself. And now I'm asking him to grant me health from my sickness. He himself, he couldn't benefit himself, you know. It doesn't even make sense, you know. But unfortunately, people are attaching themselves to other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And as such, you know, they get into trouble all the time. That's why Ibn Qayyim says the root of ma'asi are three. Number one is تعلق القلب بغير الله, having the heart being connected with other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, attaching your heart to other than Allah. All forms of shirk and riyah, is in the grave in that regard, and hanging yourself with awliya, these are all part of this, caused by this what they call تعلق القلب بغير الله. The second one is القوة الغضبانية والقوة الشهوانية. The power of the anger and the power of the desire. Every sin that you see somebody is committing in this life is because of one of these three things. Either the heart is hang and connected to other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, or he couldn't defeat this power and the strength of the anger. And that's why you have the murder and all of these clashes and the battles and the fightings, and also curses and bad words and all of these things that people are saying to each other. And you have the last one is al-quwwa shahwaniyya. He couldn't battle that desire. That's why zina and liwat, and taking riba, bribes, stealing, these are all based on following the desire. So that's why Ibn Qayyim says these are the three roots of the ma'asi. And the first one is the one that is related to what these guys are doing when they go to the grave, asking other than Allah, because the heart is already attached to those ones rather than connecting it with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah guide them. They should know that this person doesn't hold benefit or harm. If he does, he will benefit himself. In his life with us, he has been sick from time to time, many times. And we are helping him to go to the hospital with him. But still somebody is hanging around him thinking that this person can solve all of my problems. Allah grant us tawfiq.
Ameen. Right, Sheikh, so moving forward now, we come to the next phase, which would be the actual birth of the child. Is there any specific dua that should be recited during the birth of the child or to welcome the child?
Well, I can't remember something specifically from the Prophet ﷺ for the mothers to be reciting, except that some says it's good for her to remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala by saying Allahu Rabbi la ushriku bihi shay'a. I can't confirm this to be the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ where he asked somebody to do this. But remembering Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always good. It brings comfort and ease the affairs of the one who is saying it. Any dhikr that is authentically, subhanallah, la ilaha illallah, I will advise the mothers to intensify this when they are in the process of delivery. Inshallah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will make it easy for them. And also ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala during that moment for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make things easy for them, because she is muttarra. Because this at that time Zahid is the issue of life or death. That's why you can see even Sharia says if she dies at that time, bi-idhnillahi ta'ala, the hope for her to go to paradise is very great. She is a shahida. If she died at that moment, she is considered as one of the shuhada in Islam. So you can see that it really is at a very tough moment. It's not a joke, So she should remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. She should do the normal things for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for her, inshallah. Any dhikr of Allah, any dhikr that comes to her mind. La ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika la lahu mulku wa alhamdu wa ala kulli shay'in qadir. Subhanallah walhamdulillah wa la ilaha illallah wallahu akbar wa la hawla la quwwata illa billah. Any other dhikr, and ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to ease her affairs. Right. That's it. Until the time she delivers the child. Yeah.
Inshallah. When it comes to pregnancy, not all pregnancies are, of course, successful.
And just one thing before you go, sorry, as I hit. And also the husband and the wife, they should try their best to do the necessary not to expose the woman to a male doctor. Yeah, because sometimes the one who is acting as a midwife is a male. It's haram for them to do that as long as there is a female to do that. Because it is haram for every Muslim to look at the aura of another sister, whether he's a doctor or anybody else. Because unfortunately nowadays the doctors, they think they have a permission from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to look at any part of the woman. No, this is not. They don't have this permission from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to be acting as an exemption, that I am a doctor, then I can do whatever I want. No, they can only do it when there is a necessity. Yeah, if there is a female doctor, she has to go to the female doctor. If there is no female doctor, then the male doctor, if they cannot have any alternative which is halal, then the male doctor can do the job, restricting himself to that need, and that's it. Other than that, the woman should be covered. That's why all of her body should be covered. only that place, and he has to lower his gaze, and also just focus on the child. Yeah, not the private part of a woman. It's very, very dangerous. So my advice to any parent is to fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and the husband should be very, very, very serious on this. This is his privacy, and this is his honor and dignity. He shouldn't just go and submit his family to any person. So as long as there is a woman, they have to look for that sister to help her in the delivery. And male doctors are not allowed to go to that place. Yeah, they are not allowed. Islamically, it's haram for him to go, unless if there is a need for him to be there and there is no any other sister who can do it except him. Then we just close our eyes and let him go. And even in that situation, he has to restrict himself to that need. Only right after that, the woman has to be covered completely. They have this Jewish, I don't know if I'm doing justice to the Jew, if I say that they do that, because in terms of what you call decency and following what you call the hijab, the Jews, the old one, the Orthodox, yeah, those one, they don't. I've heard in some countries they do everything possible to know that their wives are having privacy. Man is not going to the place where they go, and so this system that we take in our hospitals, this is kufr system, but we still hold upon it. Just like the martial art, our children in our school, they mix ruku for the trainer. That's ruku. Whatever you call it, intention doesn't work here, because that's bending as a tahiyyah for somebody. It's only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Out of respect.
Out of respect, yeah. It's only for Allah. Why can't we take the teachings, and at the same time when it comes to that, what do you call tahiyyah, greetings, we change it with salam. Say salam, assalamu alaikum, rather than making those, because I was attending an event, yesterday, when they are demonstrating their skills. Before they say the salam, they say some word, which I believe this word is not a local word. It's not a Malay, it's not a Chinese, but that whatever, what do you call, language, the language of the inventor of this, what do you call, self-defense thing, is they are speaking that language. Why do I need to speak his language, I take the training, I take everything, but then when it comes to other matters, I have to also consider my religion. What's wrong with saying salam, assalamu alaikum, rather than speaking their language as a greeting to this Muslim, and he's Muslim, right? Rather than speaking those things which whether he understands or he doesn't understand, why does he take this one as a respect rather than taking the one that he will be rewarded when he replies it? I will be rewarded. I'm doing my defense things. I get the reward when I say assalamu alaikum. Why can't we take it and modify it and make it in the Islamic way? So I see most of our practices, we just take the whole thing rather than taking that which is halal, and use it. No, we just take the whole thing and do it and tell people, no, these are necessities. This is how the thing is. Darura, unfortunately. So in hospitals, up to date, the system remain in the way it is. May the free mixing unnecessarily. Doctor and a nurse, they sit in a place, very close to each other, and they're not husband and wife. And we don't care, because this is how the hospitals are. And the person who is going for the operation, a sister, unfortunately, you will see there is a room for her to change. From that room, she take off her hijab and wear that simple cloth to go to the place. And they were going to take her and pass her through non-maharim, and everyone has to see her in that situation. And sometimes even the hijab she takes it off and she wear that small calf. This is haram for the Muslim to do that. A sister shouldn't agree with this. She has to fight, and the doctors should accept, because this is what medicine says. A patient has to tell you what he wants, and you have to treat him according to the way he wants. And honestly speaking, what is the necessity of her taking off her hijab from the room before the operation room? Why? Until now, I tried to understand this. I found nothing, no justification for it. But we are doing, we as the Muslim, we are still doing these things. Why can't she go there? Why can't we provide a room where she can go and take off her hijab and get ready, and just open the place where they need? and then come like that. Why can't we do that? And also to make what I'm saying correct, when the sister fight, at the end of the day, they give her what she wants and they do the surgery effectively. That means we can do it effectively without having all of those things which we have taken from others. May Allah grant us good. So these are matters that we really have to pay attention to them and do what is needed Islamically to teach people lessons so that they will not do it with others. If I resist, you resist, trust me, they will readjust the system because they know that not everyone in the community is accepted. Yeah, we talk about freedom of speech, freedom of actions, and all of these things. As long as you are not harming others, why can't we apply this in our hospitals also? Yeah, I choose the way I want you to treat me. If he cannot, just apologize. Let a person go and look for others. But you cannot impose your religion and your virtues and your values, cultural practice on me just because you want to give me a medicine which might not be necessary. Yeah, especially when this happens, a place where you are paying money for that. Even in public hospitals, public hospital, they have all of these banners that are saying you shouldn't be forced to accept treatment other than what you look for. But the doctors are not doing. And nobody's there to question them. May Allah guide them.
Ameen.
That's why we need Muslim and practicing doctors who are aware of the Sharia and also they have the skills in the medicine. They have the expertise. These are the people we need. The person who will not come and clash with the Sharia. The person who will tell the woman who came to him that there is a female doctor, you should go and see that when she's available. Don't come to me. Person who will not tolerate, any, khuluq that is not appropriate, in his presence. The person who will restrict himself to the need. And a doctor, he wanted to check about a woman, but he insisted that she has to open a place which she refused. She said, I don't have sickness in that place. My sickness in the leg. What happened to my face? What do you want to do with it? And she was insistent that she has to open. I was like, okay, I don't know what is the connection, He is a Muslim and she is a Muslimah. He knows in Islam, if he studied that as a doctor, you have to restrict yourself to that place you need. If he goes beyond that, he's committing sin. Whether he likes it or he doesn't like, he's committing sin. Why does he want to commit this sin? That's why I said this is just blind following of the Western, ideologies in doing things. Wallahu a'lam.
Sheikh, so we also mentioned right now the concept of darura, and since many people use this term to justify certain actions, could you give us quick guidelines on what the term actually means and when should this concept take place?
Yeah, darura is one of the most misunderstood words, especially in this time of ours. Zahid bought a car, and this car, not Zahid, another person bought a car based on a riba loan. When I ask him, he tells me darura. A lot of transportations are there. And sometimes he even has some car, but he looks at them as old cars. But then he calls it darura. Everyone has his own darura. So that's why there has to be a criteria and the definition given to us by the Sharia so that we will know what to do in this regard. Darura, Islamically, is a life-threatening situation. A situation whereby you need this to be permissible for you, otherwise you might lose your life. If it is not legal, you might lose your life. So we're talking about life and death. To save life, Sharia says you can do that which is haram to save your life. Yeah, that's the only darura we know. You have a situation, a step lesser than the darura. We call it haja. This is a situation whereby if the thing is not legal for you, you will live a very terrible and difficult life. You will not die, most likely. But life is going to be very tough. And sometimes it might be elevated to the level of darura. It started with haja, but it moves to darura. For instance, you are a surgeon. You want to do operation on somebody. Zahid, when you come to him and cut that part of his stomach, would he die? Not necessarily. Yeah, he can cut and then sew it back again. But you can imagine how much this guy is suffering. You need like 10, 20 people to hold him in the way he cannot move at all. Yeah. You can imagine how much he has gone through. as I said, I witnessed a person who went through this, subhanAllah. It was a very terrible moment, and we also don't think they will survive when we see them. They went through the surgery without giving them the
anesthesia.
They did, but it failed at one point of the time. So the feeling and the suffering is really, really something that is not possible for them to bear, but they can't do anything. So based on this, the scholar said using those type of drugs to make the place numb, desensitize the place so that the doctors can finish their things, and to avoid this possibility of death is necessary. They said it's legal, it's halal. Otherwise, at the first place, those drugs are prohibited Islamically. But the one that is used by the doctors to avoid this big problem, they said it's okay, this is the haja. So the rest is just tahsiniyat. Things, whether you have them or you don't have them, you will live. But unfortunately, nowadays we take them as the darura, right? Kamaliyat. Things, whether you have them or you don't have them, you will still survive and live. So darura, before you use it and legalize that which is haram, you must fulfill two conditions. Number one is the fact that there is no halal alternative. Number two, you are sure that if you use that thing that is haram, the darura will be gone. If these conditions are not fulfilled, then the darura you cannot legalize a haram thing.
And there can be no room for doubt here.
There can be no room for any utilization of rukhsas here. And subhanAllah, if you go through these two conditions, having a situation of darura in our time, Zaid, I don't say it's impossible, but almost impossible. Almost impossible. Because life has changed a lot in the way alternatives are there. Everything they told you there is no alternative. When you just move a bit and you push a bit, they provide you another one, which is okay, but they just don't want it because it's not fancy. Yeah, it's not good enough. Yeah, they want that one because of so many things. So you must make sure that there is no halal alternative, whether you like that halal alternative or not, but it shouldn't exist. And secondly, you must make sure that by taking that thing which is haram, the situation of darura will be gone completely. Yeah, if these two conditions are fulfilled, then a person can use the haram thing. Yeah. So if you sit down and think of a situation where somebody can take riba, trust me, you might not have this situation at all. Unless in a case whereby somebody is looking for a loan, and this loan is for something that he is using to save a life. Literally saving a life. If he doesn't do, that person will die, or he will die. And he tried to seek for the halal loan, but nobody is willing to give, except the haram one. Yeah, these are the situations that you can say, yes, a person can go. But honestly speaking, Zahid, when does a person get into this situation? Very difficult to find this situation. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us good. So this is darura Islamically, and these are conditions for darura to take place. Other than that, a person should just fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and be patient and do the right thing.
Jazakallah khair, Sheikh, for elaborating on that concept. Moving forward to the next phase of our discussion, there are scenarios where the pregnancy is not successful and it leads to miscarriage, or it leads to stillbirth. How should the family or the couple or even the mother herself, how do you navigate this situation? What do we look for?
They should be patient and understand that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows exactly what He does, and they should accept the decree and the qada of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and do whatever is necessary Islamically. If the child started to have features, features of human being, then after he is delivered, the child is delivered, then they have to go through the process. They pray for him and bury him also.
They're naming the child
and
as well?
Also, some scholars said even naming the child also is okay. It's fine for them to give him a name. But they go through the process. Before this, they said it could be just a flesh of meat. They just bury it anyhow. No need to pray for it. No need to do anything else. Yeah. As for the sister, if the nature of the child, the nature of the human being is clear in that fetus which died because of the miscarriage, Then she goes through the process of the Nifas issue and all of these things. I don't know whether you are planning to ask this question.
Inshallah,
or not,
we will.
She goes through the process.
Sheikh, but for this features part that we mentioned over here, is there like specific 80 days, 120 days? How do we navigate this?
They just say we just see if the features of human being are very clear. They can understand that this is human being. Yeah, in this case, we have to go through the process.
Is there any specific guidance in terms of the burial of this child? Or is it just a normal?
No, it depends. Either he is, he's just in the early stage, just a flesh of meat or blood. We just dig a normal hole and just put him. That's it. No prayer, no anything. But if the features are there, then we have to go with the process. Yeah, put him, cover him, pray for him, and then go and bury him. Yeah.
The ghusl also, everything happens.
Ghusl might not be, if they can do the ghusl, let's say the skin is there, they can do the ghusl, they go through the process and then bury.
Inshallah. Sheikh, then we also mentioned right now the concept of Nifas, and that was our upcoming question. So how would we define Nifas, and then what would be the rulings associated with it in this scenario?
Nifas is the blood that comes after delivery. Yeah, that period of time where the woman will be bleeding. This is what is called Nifas. It's usually caused by the exit of the child. Yeah, sometimes it begins 2-3 days before the delivery itself, as long as it is connected to the labor pain. Yeah, if it is connected with the labor pain, then it is Nifas. So a woman is supposed to treat it just like the way she is treating the haid, in terms of staying away from prayers and fastings, and also a husband cannot approach her during that period of time, and she stays until the time she is pure. According to the best opinion of the scholars, it can go up to 60 days and more than that actually, as long as it's stopped and the blood is still the same as the first one she saw, then she has to stay. Many scholars said after 40 days then she has to start praying. But
even if she's seeing the blood?
Even if she's seeing the blood. But the best opinion, according to the statement of Sheikh Al-Islam bin Taymiyyah, and also this opinion of Imam Malik, and I guess Shafi'iyah also, this is what they are going with, Nifas can go beyond that. Because there is no place where the Prophet ﷺ said, do not go beyond 40 days. The companion said, we used to stay until 40 days. Yeah. So, but I can't remember why they said even if the blood is coming, we just start praying. So Ibn Taymiyyah says there is no limit for it unless if it is continuous, it doesn't want to stop, then we take it as istihada. But as long as it stopped, 50, 40, 60. Imam Shafi'i says, I know a woman who in Nifas is always 60 days.
Subhanallah.
Yeah, 60 days. After 60 days, it stopped. So on what basis you're going to say that after 40 days, then the rest of the blood is something else? While the same color, the same nature, the same thing is coming, So that's why, wallahu alam, the best opinion is as long as the blood stopped, we still take it as Nifas.
But do we have like a minimum period for it or no? Because we said maximum could be anything.
Period, just like haid. And the haid also, according to the best opinion, no minimum amount. Yeah, it can come very little and cut. And it can come just for a day and go, or a few minutes and then go. It's okay. Once it goes, then the woman is pure and clean. She goes back to the...
So this period of postpartum bleeding or Nifas, we treat it just like haid or menstruation in terms of rulings of prayer and fasting and everything?
That's exactly that's why if you study the fiqh, they will tell you the hukm al-nifas, hukm al-haid. The hukm of nifas is the same as the haid.
Inshallah. Alright, so moving forward now that we've covered this period of delivery and childbirth and everything, now coming to the child itself, the baby itself, what would be the best way of now welcoming this child into the world with regards to the Adhan and the Iqama in the year? I think there's a bit of difference of opinion there. So how do you advise us to tackle this?
Okay, first of all, as I said, they should appreciate and celebrate that happiness. Celebration doesn't mean inviting people and all of these things, but just show the happiness, because this is really a big gift from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for them. And also the father should choose the best place for the delivery of his child, especially in our time. do not choose a place where you go, musical instruments are there and all of these things. Your child will begin his life with music. That's really not appropriate. So he should choose a place where, if it is not Quran being played and not nasheed, but people are silent or just normal talking, but not musical instruments.
So should we play Quran while the delivery is happening?
No, we don't say we should play. But if you have the Quran being played in the place, it's very fine. It's very fine. But we don't say it is a must or recommended that it should. This one, we have to have a sunnah for this. And I can't remember any place in the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam where this is recommended. Yeah, but if we have the place and you have a hospital, but they use Quran all the time, that would be nurun ala nur. Yeah, in some hospital, they have it in their computer. Right after the child is delivered, the computer will play the adhan like that. I found it interesting because if the father and the mother couldn't do the adhan, on time, but at least the environment is not wrong environment. They do not hear bad things. So the first thing after the child comes is to recite the adhan on the right ears and the Iqama. So they said, as you mentioned, the majority of the scholars believe that this adhan is really important. Ibn al-Qayyim has justification for that. Although there are some who are saying that both hadiths for the adhan and the Iqama are not authentic. But I believe, inshallah, at least the adhan is quite okay rather than the Iqama. So they make adhan on the ears of the child. And
the left ear.
Right. Yeah. And it should be the first thing the child hears. Ibn al-Qayyim says it's really important that the first thing the child will be listening to is the adhan, the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He said because naturally the first thing that goes into the brain of a child remains. So it's good for him to begin his life with Allah in his brain rather than those instruments and things and issues of that nature. So they make the adhan.
Sheikh, just pushing a bit more on this part of azan, right? Like many at times doctors, they will say that the ears of the child are very sensitive, don't give the azan, do it later. So how would you advise giving the azan in the first place?
No, we don't listen to the doctors in this case, because the adhan, I'm not giving adhan.
You're not shouting.
Of inviting people. The doctor is talking next to the child. He should also be silent because the ears are very sensitive. He is not. He talks, and the nurses also come sometimes, they shout. All of these things have been done. But when it comes to applying what is said to be the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, then they will start giving you excuses and all of these things. Yeah, we don't listen to them at all. A person should just go and give the adhan silent, because he's just in his next to his ears and talking very softly and gently. That's it. It doesn't affect the ears at all. Very softly and gently. Yeah, that's it. How does it affect the ears? If it is affecting the ears, then the room should be completely quiet, and they shouldn't talk. The mother shouldn't talk. Doctors shouldn't talk. Because it affects the ears. But they are all talking. But when it comes to making adhan, no, it has this, it has that.
It's misconception.
Misconception. You don't want to go with misconception.
Or they just don't want to do it.
Yeah, they just related to Islam. You're sticking with these things they call tiny things is extremism. Zahid, this is my belief in this kind of situation. It just, people think that all of these things, they call them tiny and simple things, and you are insistent to have them. Why?
Or being backward at times.
Yeah, they've seen you like that. Yeah. And that's it. It's not about misconception. They understand what exactly is all about, and they know that yes, this is what the scholars have mentioned, but they don't want these type of things to. Yeah, our medical system is liberal. That's how I see it. It has to be fixed to go back to its old and original, shape, which is Islamic kind of oriented thing. Everything has to be Islamic, and there will be no harm. I don't see connection between kufr or sins and medicine. Yeah, those things which they say, they are not even in ittifaq. Many times you go to the doctor, this doctor will tell you this, another one will tell you, no, this is not good for the life. They themselves also, they have khilaf, amongst them. Yeah. But they have a unity when it comes to Islam telling you something. Do you get the idea? So why can't we have our virtues incorporated in our medical system rather than taking from others? So that's number one, the Adhan. And you have also the Tahneek.
Sheikh, for the Iqama, are we going ahead with the Iqama?
I don't do the Iqama, although I know majority of the scholars says both are okay, because they see that hadith to be Hasan or authentic.
So Azan in the right and Iqama in the left.
In the left, this is what they are mentioning. But the Adhan is a bit more stronger than the Iqama. Yeah, the hadith of the Adhan are more stronger than the hadith of the Iqama. Yeah. So after that, then is the Tahneek issue. The boy, before he takes everything, it's good if there is a tamar to chew it properly. Father or the mother chew it properly and then put it in the mouth of the child. Chew it properly, really properly. Yeah, the system is not stable yet for him to have a dry tamar to eat them. You know, chew it properly and take from the saliva and put in the mouth of the child. I prefer the parent to do it themselves, not taking the child to anybody.
I mean, it's mixing of saliva and all of the other stuff as well.
This is the reason why I'm saying I don't prefer somebody to do it. Yeah, I prefer, because I don't remember when they used to take their children to Rasulullah, to other than Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. To Rasulullah, yes, but to Abu Bakr, Umar, I can't remember a single narration that says they used to take them to the companions to make the tahneek for them.
Interesting. Sheikh, so we mentioned dates. Does it have to be dates necessarily, or can we do something like honey or anything sweet?
Tamr is better. Ibn al-Qayyim says if we couldn't find tamr, then any natural sweet.
So natural sweet, honey then?
Honey, although honey, doctors nowadays will tell you is too strong for the stomach of the child. I don't know what is their base, but this is what they are saying.
Interesting.
Even Zamzam, they don't agree with that. My friend broke this. He says, all of my children in Saudi, I gave them Zamzam and nothing happened to any one of them.
When they were born, immediately?
And no, not immediately, but because doctors will say the first 6 months, the child doesn't need water. Yeah, this is true. The mother can keep giving the child milk, no water, no any other food except milk. Because everything is in that milk. Everything is a complete meal. Yeah, and it's better for the child also for the first 6 months also to be on that. So they would tell you that giving him water might not be good for the body. So he says, no, except Zamzam. And he was right, because Ismail was a baby, very fresh baby. Yeah, and he was fed Zamzam throughout his life, and nothing happened to him.
Are we saying that he was fed Zamzam directly, or did the mother drink the Zamzam and then it got transferred via the milk?
Yeah, it could be, but she drank and then give it to him. Unless if we have a confirmation that she doesn't share the water with him until after the 6 months, then we can claim that no, she waited until after the 6 months. Then I will rest my case. Just say to the doctors, yes, sir, and we go with that. I personally, with my kids, I don't give them water. Zamzam, I'm not exposed to it. I don't have it here in Malaysia. And also, even if I have it, I have doubt whether it's correct or wrong, because a lot of cheatings are there. So my children, all of them, I just stick to the milk of the mothers. That's it. Until after these 6 months. And then they will start drinking water slowly and taking some other food.
So is there any other stuff and during this period of time, like we've said, to do the tahneek? So next would, of course, be the naming of the child itself. Yeah. Should we do it on the same day as the child is born?
Naming of the child can happen even before the delivery.
And agreeing upon a name.
Yeah, and you can name the child.
Name the child, okay.
Give him a name. My child that will come, his name is Ibrahim, Zahid, Abu Bakr, Uthman. Before he comes. Right after he comes, you should give him a name. And there's also another dimension, because naming the child is really important, and a person to choose the best name. It's a part of the right of the child that the name that will be given to him is the best name. Best name means good name. And the best name to be given to a child is Abdullah or Abdurrahman, as the Prophet ﷺ said. So, and a person should try his best to choose a name that has good meaning. Yeah, that has good meaning in every place. Yeah, because name has impact on the person. Yeah. So it's a jarima, it's a crime being committed against the children when we name them with names which are wrong names. It might affect their life in the future. Prophet ﷺ used to change names if they are not appropriate. Yeah, so since this is the case, then at the first place, we shouldn't give the name in the wrong way. We should give the correct name. Right. So this is the right of a child to be given a good name by the parent. So, and then after the day number 7, also we do the halq. We shave the hair.
We'll reach that point, inshallah. Okay. We have a few questions here already.
Saying what happens after the...
Yeah. So, when we are naming the child, right, so who has the right to name the child? Because usually you would hear of many fights happening. It's the grandfather's coming in, the father's family is coming in, the mother herself is saying, I want to name something else. How do we navigate this situation?
The parent. This is their right. This is their child.
Definitely.
They do have a right to name the child without consulting anyone. Although if the father or the mother have interest in this, then I will advise them to go with the interest of the parent. But if the parent did not show any interest, this is their absolute right to name the child, the name they want, the father and the mother.
When it comes to naming the children as well, like we mentioned, the best of names for the males would be Abdullah and Abdurrahman. What would you suggest for the females?
Names of the great sisters. Some scholars said Amatullah, Amatur Rahman, but I don't have any evidence for this. But they are saying this because any name that is, you attach it to being a slave of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should be the best name. And this is good. But to say that it's a sunnah to call her Amatullah or this and that, and because we don't see the daughters of the companions doing this and that, and if this is what to be done, I believe they will be rushing to this. Yeah, but they have a lot of Abdullah, Abdurrahman. So if you ask me what is the best name to be chosen, I would say the name of the household of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the family members of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, either from his wives or from the daughters, yeah, or the names of the companions. But these are very straightforward Islamic and Muslim names. Yeah, you come and hear Aisha, Fatima, Khadija. You get it. You already know that these are Muslims' names. You hear what other name? Ruqayya, Zainab. You know, these are all straightforward. You know that these are Muslim names. Yeah, but other than that is okay. Any name that has good meaning is okay. But it's good as a Muslim to have this. You know, I like swimming in the house of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, out of the hope that inshallah these people, they might pick up from the attitude of those great sisters, Asiya, Maryam, Khadija, Fatima, you know. Yeah, inshallah.
I think it's natural.
I will prefer a person to swim in that one, not to skip them until they finish first and then start going to.
That's a lot of skipping to do.
Yeah, that's, people will call him an animal. Yeah, that's what they said. If you have a lot of children, it's like animal. What is that? A'udhu billah.
Khair, inshallah. All right. So I think now we've reached the point that Sheikh, I cut you off before. The point of Aqeeqah of the child. What would you advise with regards to it?
Yeah, this is Aqeeqah, according to the best opinion of the scholars, is wajib to be slaughtered. A person to slaughter the Aqeeqah, as long as he's able to do that. The Prophet ﷺ has said a child will be detained, you know, because of his Aqeeqah. It's like rahan. You know, you give your house to get the money as a collector. So that house will be kept by the creditor. So he is going to keep that house until the time you pay him the money. So your child also is like that. So you are restricting him from getting a lot, you know, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and so many things. Allah knows what exactly are they, until the time the Aqeeqah is being done. So the Aqeeqah has to be done for the child. If it is for a male, then we need 2 sheep, the Prophet ﷺ said, and the female 1 sheep. Yeah. What is the justification? Allahu alam. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, through the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, told us this is what we should do. Not because the boy is better than the girl, no, not at all. This is just the system how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made it. For the boy, 2 sheep. For the girl, one sheep is enough. So this is the Aqeeqah, and it should be slaughtered, and a person slaughtered the Aqeeqah in the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And his intention is this is the Aqeeqah of so and so, and that's it. Intention is the Aqeeqah of so and so. Whether he mentioned that this is Aqeeqah for this and that, or he doesn't, but the intention should be this is the Aqeeqah of so and so. Slaughter, and then they eat the meat and distribute the meat also to the needy people.
Sheikh, but wasn't one sheep slaughtered for the birth of either Hassan or Hussein instead of 2?
No, even if this is authentic that the Prophet ﷺ only did and that one, we follow his command. They say when you have a command from the Prophet ﷺ and also action, we go with the command. Because action might be khas, specifically given to the Prophet ﷺ, which the Ummah is not included in it. So the command says shatani. We go with the 2 shat. That if it is authentic that the Prophet ﷺ slaughtered only one for each and every one of them. Otherwise, we just go with the command. In both situations, we just go with the command, which is to slaughter 2 sheep for a boy and 1 sheep for a girl.
But what if the parents don't have enough money to slaughter 2?
They
or
just
maybe even
slaughter
1.
Maybe
if they can't even slaughter 1.
Then that's it. La yukallifullahu nafsan illa wusaha. They do it whenever they can do. Some scholars said they do it after 1 week. I'm sorry, after the next week, that's after 14 days. Okay, and other scholars said, they said if they couldn't do it after 2 weeks, they do it after 3 weeks. So 14th or 21st.
So multiples of 7.
Yeah, and then after that, they just do it any other day without thinking of taking that kind of consideration of 7 days.
But it has to be done.
It has to be done. Whenever they can afford doing it, they just do. Yeah. And also there's one thing also that we need to address here. When to do the Aqeeqah. Yeah, the Aqeeqah was supposed to be done on the 7th. Usually in many countries, we do the Aqeeqah on the 8th. For instance, the child is born on Sunday. Today's Sunday, right? When do you do the Aqeeqah? Saturday,
okay.
Yeah, if you do it on Sunday, that's day number 8.
So we're counting like Bad Maghrib as the day.
Let's say he was born on Sunday. That means before Maghrib. If Maghrib comes,
it's already
Monday.
Sahih.
Then you say he is born on Monday. So he was born on Sunday. You get it? So that's day number 1. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's number 7. But usually in many places we do it on the 8th. Because we start counting from the next day. But what happened to the day he was born? That was his first day. Even in his birth, you calculate that day. You don't skip it. You count it also. So we do it on the 7th. So if he was born on Tuesday, that's mean the Aqeeqah is on Monday. If he was born on Monday, that's mean the Aqeeqah is on Sunday. Like that. Yeah. So this is a correction that because I know many countries the Aqeeqah is being done on the 8th day of the delivery.
Sheikh, so now the Aqeeqah, the animal that has been slaughtered, we mentioned about dividing or distributing the meat.
Yeah.
How do we divide or distribute this? And can the family of the child also take from the meat?
Yeah, they should eat actually from it. Get this celebration and share with others. Yeah, they can eat it all without giving anyone. It's fine. It's good for them to give it to other people. Let them share, and they will make dua for them possibly. Yeah.
The reason I'm asking is because, like, during Udhiyah for Qurban, you usually get the breakdown of 1/3, 1/3, 1/3.
Yeah.
We don't apply that over here.
It does, because they said Aqeeqah is just like the Udhiyah. That's why they talk about Udhiyah, and then when they come to the Aqeeqah, they will tell you it takes like the Ahkamul Udhiyah. Yeah, it's good to share with anyone. You can give it in charity, all of it, and you can eat all of it, and you divide. The best is to divide. Yeah. So what we do also is correct. You cook the meat and invite people to come for small walima. That's okay.
Inshallah. Sheikh, so we mentioned right now that the 7th day is for the Aqeeqah. What about shaving the hair?
Shaving the hair also 7 days. It's
Before
good
Aqeeqah, after Aqeeqah?
It's good to, no, not necessarily when. It's just a person to do it whenever he can do. It's good to wait until day number 7 where the head is a bit stronger. Because you know when the child comes, it's a bit soft and fragile. It's not good for you to bring the blade and start it. It will be a bit difficult. So it's good to wait for the child to reach 7. They started becoming strong and he sees things, he knows what he's doing, somehow. And then you come and shave the hair. Yeah. The father should do or the mother should do. Yeah. It's simple. They have those shavers, it's very simple. Yeah. They just have to be a bit careful. But those ones, since they are designed in a way that they shouldn't cut a person, you shouldn't get injured. We used to do with the blade, but that one you have to be extra careful to make sure you don't cut the baby. But now, since you have the other thing, you just make sure that you put enough water and the soap, and it will be so soft and gentle. And the baby usually will not cry, because it will be just like you are scratching his head gently. Yeah.
Sheikh, so now what do we do with the hair? Do we bury it? Do we throw it?
No need to. You just throw it away. But you weigh it and give the weight, the value of the weight, silver.
Not gold.
Not gold, but you can do with the gold. It's okay. It's fine. That's, of course, better since you're giving it in charity. The more you give, the better the reward is. So the Prophet ﷺ asked Fatima to give silver. Dirham. Get it? 1 dirham or part of the dirham, because the hair, if you weigh it, is very, very light. Yeah. So you just give the estimate. You can just have the estimate of the weight, if you can weigh it, and then give the estimate in the currency and in the money, and then give it to somebody else.
And does this ruling of the shaving of the hair, does it apply only to the males, or are the females included this as well?
This is also a controversial matter. Many scholars said only the male. Many other scholars said no, both you should do it, because it does benefit. When you remove the first hair that comes, the next one is fresher, stronger, healthier also. That's why they said it's applicable to both of them. And especially knowing that the Prophet ﷺ says al-mawlud. Al-mawlud is the child who is delivered, regardless of the gender. So they said both are okay, female and a male. You get it? She might need it more than him, if this theory is fact, because many of them say yes, it's true. The hair that the baby comes with is not healthy hair. That's why across the time it might be going out by itself. So shave it, and the good one, the fresh, the best one will come. So she might need it because it's part of the beauty. The girls, they have long hair than the boys, and she might need it more than the boy. So that's why the opinion that I take is the one that says both of them could be shaved. Yeah. But the controversy remains. If you see somebody who is not shaving the hair of his daughter, that's fine. Yeah. If he follows that opinion, that's also fine. Great scholars have said that. Ibn Uthaymeen and many others, they said that we don't shave the hair of the girl.
Because you're sticking towards the original ruling with regards to females and the hair.
Both of them could be shaved.
Yeah. Go ahead, please.
As long as a person is, convinced that it benefits, it's better for him to shave the hair.
Inshallah. I was reading this narration where they were mentioning in the days of the Jahiliyyah, after the slaughtering the Aqeeqah, the animal, they used to take some blood and put it on the head of the child.
Yeah.
So after Islam, some of the Sahaba, instead of the blood, they applied saffron on the head of the child. Would we consider doing the same thing even today?
If it is authentically attributed to them, they're doing, then it's okay to imitate the companions of the Prophet ﷺ. But according to the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, nothing to be done. We don't need to do it. We don't need to replace what is wrong by doing something else.
So do we say that was a
So
cultural thing?
My advice is to stick to that which was done by the Prophet ﷺ to Al-Hasan and Hussein.
Mm-hmm.
If he did that with them, then we just go with that. If not, then a person should stay away from it, because if it is good, Rasulullah ﷺ will be the first to apply it on his grandchildren.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I
But if
really
you-
want a Muslim to always try to see what exactly was done by Rasulullah ﷺ and just do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Inshallah. But if you're saying, even from a cultural perspective, like that was something culturally that they did, or maybe today people might do something different. They might apply kohol, or they might apply some turmeric on the baby. That would be fine, right? Because it's
We
a
have to
cultural
look
thing.
into the belief.
Mhm.
If it is attached to certain beliefs,
Mhm.
yeah, that's why we have to be very careful. Why do we need to do it at the first place? What is the benefit of doing it?
Mhm.
Yeah. If there is a benefit in doing it and it is not related to any belief, then it's fine.
Mhm.
But if it is related to their beliefs, then it's wrong for a person to do it. Yeah, that's why I'm saying whether there is a culture or there is no culture, trust me, I love always to follow what Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam did with his family and his children.
Mhm.
Yeah, because those one, they became the leaders of the world, you know.
Mhm.
And what suit them should be enough for us. You know?
Definitely, definitely. So just to summarize what we've discussed till now, so we are saying that the very naming of the child can happen even before birth,
Yeah,
and after birth we can do it on the same day as well.
yeah,
Aqeeqah and the shaving of the head, we leave it till day 7.
yeah.
So now the next question would be regarding circumcision. When do we go for circumcision?
This one, yani, there is no time for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yuhtatan also after the day number 7. A person shouldn't do it before.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe it is better for the child to be, given respite until he reaches 1 year, 2 years, you know, is good. Rather than in the very early days, you know,
Mm-hmm.
come and cut him, you know. I don't call it injustice, but I think it's waiting for the child is better, at least to grow a bit. 1 year is okay.
Mm-hmm.
1.5 years is okay. 2 years, after 2 years is really fine. Because the reason why we need to do it early, it is to avoid psychological pain.
Mm-hmm.
Because when a person is injured, there are two things: psychological, sickness and pain, and the physical one.
Mm-hmm.
So if you do the khitan, the circumcision for the boy, when he is, let's say, 5 years old,
Mm-hmm.
psychologically he's disturbed. How does he goes to his friends, and now
Mm-hmm.
this can affect the process of healing, the healing process.
Mm-hmm.
Then if it is supposed to heal in 10 days, it might go to 1 month.
Mm-hmm.
You get it? So they said to avoid this, is better to do it at a time when he doesn't know what is that. To him, it's just normal, you know. So that's 1 year is good, 1.5 years, because still the children, you know, after 2 years, is still even taking the milk. That means very young. He doesn't know what aura is all about and things and that. So if you do the khitan, he doesn't suffer psychologically.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a physical suffering, which inshallah would not hinder the process of the healing. So that's why I always prefer, since there is nothing specific mentioned by the Prophet ﷺ about the time, and in the past they used to delay. They don't do it very early.
Mm-hmm.
They used to delay. I can't remember the text, but it is mentioned that they used to delay. They don't just do it quickly. Yeah, so it's better for a person to wait for the child until 1 year, 2 years, and then do it, inshallah.
I think, Sheikh,
But they have to be very also careful these days.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, to take him to the person who knows how to do it, so that you will not need to fix it in the future. Because sometimes some people, they had to go and fix it in the future because it was done in the wrong way.
I think we were a bit specific when we said circumcision for the males. So what about the females? We don't go for circumcision?
It's first of all, this issue is a very sensitive matter nowadays. You know, people. There are some people who think that this is an offense and a crime against a woman to circumcise her. You know, this is wrong. in the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ, the Prophet ﷺ approved it. And he told the sister who does it how to do it. And tell her that she should take and cut a little bit. What happens, according to what they have mentioned, is that Zahid sisters are created in a way that thing, if it has not been cut, it might grow in a way it touches the the cloth or whatever she's wearing. It can provoke a lot of desire, which might not be good for her in the future, and good for the husband who is going to be remaining with her, because he has limit. If she doesn't have, he has limit. Not everyone can have a relationship with a woman twice at a time. Have to wait for a day, and he has to wait for a longer time for him to come back. Sisters are different from the husband. So if he is going to marry with those kind of sisters, that marriage can face a problem. I personally receive a complaint. The husband, his complaint is he can't fulfill the need of his wife, because almost every time she needs him. So it was difficult for him, because it's not normal. It's just not normal at all. So they said if it is kept, it might lead to this. You get it? At the same time, if you cut it a lot, it might lead to woman not having a desire completely.
Two extremes.
Yeah, two extremes. Whoever married her is going to suffer. This one, the second one, I have no doubt that this is injustice and a crime if somebody does it intentionally. It's an injustice and a crime against a woman. The first one is okay because it doesn't affect her life. Completely doesn't affect her. And in fact, actually, it moderates her desire and bring it in the proper way, which she will appreciate, and the husband also will appreciate it. Yeah. You get it? So being in the middle, this is what the Prophet ﷺ proposed, and he told the one who does it, this is how she is supposed to do it. He said, do not go deep. Why? Because it is going to affect the woman throughout her life. You get it? So it is there in the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ approved, and according to the best opinion of the scholars, it is mustahab. For the boys is wajib, but for the sisters is mustahab. That's the majority's view. There are some scholars who see it as wajib also, as the way it is with the brothers. So I believe it is mustahab, inshallah. However, in this time of ours, I really believe that a father has to be very careful. If he decides to go for it, he really needs to be very careful. Otherwise, we have heard in some nations, subhanallah, they are really committing crime against their daughters, because she will become somebody who doesn't have desire in life, and this is taking her out of her own nature, depriving her from what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave her unnecessarily. So a person should be very careful to make sure that he takes his daughter, if he decides to go for it, take his daughter to somebody who is an expert, to a sister who is an expert in doing it, and also insist that it should be done according to the way the Prophet ﷺ prescribed. Yeah, if this is not to be found or a person is in doubt, I really advise him not to go for it. Just leave it.
I think the issue here arises is because of some of the cultural practices that people do, where they go for the complete circumcision, and that's what people would call the FGM, or the female genital mutilation. And they associate cultural practices with Islam just because a Muslim might have done it. So they say all Muslims do this.
No, that's not true. That's not true. Islam never advised a person to go for this, and in fact Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam found the Arabs doing it actually for long. He just told them not to do it in the wrong way. Because it benefits. Circumcisions actually benefit. We're doing it because of the benefit. So it benefits her also. But not doing it is not as bad as it is in the case of a boy. That's why for the boy is wajib, but for them it just mustahab. If a person doesn't do it, he doesn't get sin, according to the opinion of the vast majority of the scholars. So Muslims should be, fair to everyone. And the way you want us to be fair to you, you should also be fair to Islam. Many practices that people are doing, Islam never asks people to do that, but they just do. But unfortunately, when we attach those practices to Islam. Islam came with respecting a woman, and no place where a woman can get respect other than Islam. That's the only solution she has. History confirmed that only Islam liberated women, and up to date, this is what Islam does. The Western community, they actually humiliated women more than the way the Arabs used to do. Humiliation that a woman is receiving nowadays is worse than the one the Arab.
In the name of liberation.
In the name of liberation, right? Because those ones, they were killing the daughters out of the fear of our humiliation and disrespect in the future, which is absolutely haram. But nowadays, we are killing that honor. In the past, they killed to protect the honor. But nowadays, we are killing the honor that the sisters are having and reducing them to toys. That's this. A woman doesn't have value nowadays. Although they call upon a woman had this and that, but these are all lies. They don't have values up to date, The value they have is when they remain in Islam, and this is when Islam respect them and see them as human beings, not toys. Yeah. So no injustice is tolerated Islamically. All of these practices that people are doing against women, Islam is not part of it at all. Yeah. So circumcision is part of the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ if it is to be done in a correct way. There are millions of sisters who went through the circumcision and there is no problem in their life, and their desire never get affected because of this. Why? Because it was done correctly and the way it benefited them rather than harming them. Those who are committing crime against their daughters should be responsible, not Islam. Because Islam advised them not to do it in the wrong way. They do it when they know how to do it, and they do it in the correct way.
Inshallah. Moving to the last stage of our discussion for today, how would we navigate breastfeeding? What would be the timeline of this? And do we have any specific guidelines associated with it?
Yeah, breastfeeding is natural. So a mother is supposed to breastfeed her child and not to take the child to any other person to breastfeed him, although it is halal to do that, but it is not recommended for a person to do it. Because sometimes the baby, many times actually inherited values and manners from the breast. So it's very dangerous if it is if it is not necessary for a child to be breastfed by anyone other than the mother. So the mother should be patient and breastfeed her child, and the best duration is 2 years. To be patient up to 2 years. After 2 years, then the weaning process should take place, because at that time the child doesn't benefit from the milk. It doesn't benefit him that much, so she should wean him. Not wajib. She can go beyond that, but it doesn't make sense. She can go up to 2 years, and this is the best breastfeeding. And after that, then the child should be weaned. Yeah. And this is really important, because I think even scientifically it is proven that the most important food is the milk of the mother. Doctors always advise milk. And subhanAllah, I found it interesting, because it's just like jaundice. The jaundice, one of the medicines for this sickness, which usually children have it, is the milk of the mother. Doctors will say she should give a lot of milk. Give him a lot of milk. And it helps a lot also to remove whatever he has, inshallah. That's why also during the period of breastfeeding, she should always remember that that is somebody. You see, Zahid, the mother will be having flu. Just wait for the child. The next day you will see the child also most likely having flu. Whatever sickness she has, you might see, if this sickness could be transferred, you might see the baby also getting the same thing. So that's why she has to be patient, not to eat everything. There are things which she can tolerate, but the baby cannot tolerate. So she stays away from them, because she can get affected and get into trouble, but the baby's trouble is going to be tough. So that's why she should understand what to eat, focus on healthy food, not junk food, and not fast food. Eat natural, good food for the sake of the baby. Once she graduates, and wean the child, then now she comes back to herself. Not to take like the liberalist when they say the child doesn't have a right to, instruct the mother on how to live, what to eat. Yeah, these are all, I call them stupidities, honestly speaking. In the first place, if she thinks that she's going to have this authority, why does she bring the child first? She shouldn't do the thing which will bring the child, because she knows naturally, since she's a human being, if she has a relationship with the husband, she's going to have a child. So if she knows that this is who she is, the child has to follow whatever she wants, not what he needs, then she shouldn't bring the child at the first place. And fortunately, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us good and tawfiq.
Ameen.
So this is what I will say concerning this matter, Zahid, that a woman should be very careful on what to eat and what to drink for the sake of the child, and the period of the breastfeeding should be up to 2 years, if possible. If not, she can do it up to 1 year or less than that, if there is a need for that.
Sheikh, we mentioned that it's not preferred for another woman to breastfeed the child. But when we're looking at the seerah of the Prophet ﷺ, we see that it was an established practice for the whole city to give out the children, let's say to the tribe of Banu Sa'ad and the others, to get breastfed by the women who are living on the outskirts because they were better. How would we reconcile here?
Yeah, it remains like this. These are the practices of the Jahiliyyah which are correct and okay. They're okay at halal. That's why Islam confirm and accept it. But the question is, after that, which one among the children of the Prophet ﷺ that was sent to somebody? Nobody. We did not hear that the companions used to send their children to others after Islam came. But the system remains as a legal thing to be done and halal thing to be done. It has principles and rules. What happens after that is being done? We have all of these. But is it preferable? If it is something that is preferred, then we must have the Prophet ﷺ and the companions also sending their kids to others. But I can't trace this in the history of the Prophet ﷺ after he was given the prophecy and the Risala. So that's why I said it's not preferable for her to take him to others, especially when you have the inheritance. But there are circumstances the baby lost his parent. What do we do now? We look for somebody to breastfeed him. It doesn't matter who this person is, but the best is to look for somebody who is decent, good man, well-mannered, and then we give her the child. So if he's going to get values, there will be good values being transferred to him, inshallah.
Jazakumullah khair. I think, Sheikh, with that, it brings us to a wrap for today's discussion. Any parting words or advices that you would like to give?
Well, there's nothing other than being patient and also following all the advice that we have mentioned in this sitting of ours. Husband and wife to be patient and to try to do the right thing. Especially during the pregnancy and also when the child comes, try to make sure that things have been placed in the proper order. So that they will not regret in the future. Because these are moments which cannot be repeated. You cannot bring them back and fix them. So my advice is to study, how to take care of a child and how to live as spouses during the pregnancy, and also when the child comes, how to deal with the situation until the time the child can start taking care of himself by himself. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us good.
Ameen. All right. Jazakumullah khair, everyone, for tuning in. With this, we wrap up today's session that we discussed with regards to pregnancy as well as childbirth. We've done a few other sessions before this. They would be linked in the description. I would like to invite everyone to please go ahead and look at all of those sessions as well. And we ask Allah to accept this gathering of benefit and dhikr, and may Allah allow us to continue this series that we are ongoing. We've titled it the A to Z of Tarbiyah. We've reached maybe B or C for now. But we have quite a lot to go. The actual journey of Tarbiyah just begins. So make dua that Allah facilitates and accepts this work from the team. There are so many people behind the scenes facilitating this. So please do remember the whole team in your duas. And inshallah, see you in the next session. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.